minus 1. Okay. And E is just a number. So if we're worried about what E is an irrational number. It's irrational. So its decimal expansion goes on forever, just like pi. And it's about 2.7. Okay, it's about 2.7. So when we're graphing this, we can always just graph the point 1 comma 2.7 if we're really super interested. All right, so we're going to have y equals 0 is our horizontal asymptote. That's where we start. Then we're going to have the point 0 comma 1 because we always have that point. And then we're going to have the point 1 comma 2.7. Okay. This is what we'd have if there were no transformations. So this is the before transformation. Before transformation. All right. And what you can always do is you don't actually have to know the specific points. Before transformation, exponential functions always look the same, right? They just look like this. This is what exponential functions look like. And you could get that from graphing this stuff if you wanted to. Some people prefer to do things more algebraically. Some people prefer to do things more graphically. Either way is absolutely fine. Okay, so we have two transformations going on here. We have this negative, and that's multiplication. So we have a negative that's multiplying, and it's with the x, right? So we would say it belongs with the x. So negative, that's multiplication, belongs to the x. Okay, if it belongs to the x, it's going to happen horizontally. And multiplication by negative, you don't have to think about the same or opposite, because multiplying by a -1 is the same as dividing by a -1. So all we have to do is remember, this is a horizontal flip. It is a horizontal flip. Okay. Now, the other transformation we have is this one right here. It's the -1. So this is -1. This is subtraction. And it belongs to the y. Belongs to the y. It's not up in the exponent. It's not being affected by the exponential function. It's completely separate. So it belongs with the y. And y's do exactly what we want. This is down. We're going to go down 1. Okay. And just make sure you're following order of operations. So because here we're multiplying, do your multiplication first. So do your horizontal flip first. So horizontal flip, what that would do is it will take your graph and it's going to flip it left and right. It's going to flip it left and right. So this right side gets flipped to the left side. And the left side gets flipped to the right side. That purple one is after the horizontal flip. And we're going to use the blue to go down 1. Now we go down 1. We go down 1. So all the points get shifted down 1. Okay, that's what our graph will look like at the end. Okay, if you are a graphical person, this is a wonderful way to do it. If you're an algebraic person, if you prefer the algebra and you want to flip it, we can take our points. Okay, because the negative is multiplying the x's. Well, this is y equals. We don't touch this if we're multiplying by a negative. And this one, you take your x value, which is 0. 0 times -1 is still 0. Here we would take -1 times, or sorry, 1 times -1. So this is going to become, after you multiply the x's by -1, it's going to become, well, y equals 0 doesn't change. It stays the same because there are no x's. 0 times -1 is still 0. But 1 times -1 is -1. So we would multiply our x values by -1. And then we got to do subtraction that belongs to the y. We'll subtract 1 to our y values. So now this is a y value. So we're going to subtract 1 to the y values. What do we get? We get y equals -1. We get, so 0 stays the same because it's an x value, but 1 minus 1 is 0. So 0, 0 becomes our new point. And then -1 stays the same because that's an x value, but 2.7 minus 1 is 1.7. So what we could do if we wanted to is graph this. And look at our graph. We have at y equals -1, we have a horizontal asymptote at y equals -1. We have the point 0, 0 on our graph. That's right here. And we have the point -1 and 1.7. That is also on our graph. Okay. So if you prefer to do things algebraically, they make a little bit more sense. You can do that and then use the points to graph. Okay. And we're going to do more of these. Went through that too fast. I should have stopped multiple times for questions, but I'm stopping right now. All right. So we're going to graph the function.